This is a good place to start.
Okay, fake warming up to it, probably because this is the 30th re-debut run, or that I typed out the scripts together, so I'm excited. Either way, talking to myself on camera with lights on kind of feels like I'm on a public broadcast channel run only at 2 a.m. where most people are asleep, and the three people who decided to get their lives together in the middle of the night have this on as background noise. So it's kind of comforting. However, I will find a way to throw in my depressive poetry. That's a story for another day. In here, not in these specifically, but let me get through debut week. Yes, it's exactly what you think that's in reference to, that I will yap about when I get to it, because they low-key got me. I did not expect the cult gibberish to conquer me. Anyways, here's what you came for. I'm done playing. The first story of the day is Chigeru Kubiwa. I think it has an English name. I just don't know it. It's a manga by Totsuko. Story and art is short, about 8 chapters completed. And let me preface this. If you're looking to start for furry journey, actually, we'd be better off being more honest instead of generalizing these kinds of stories as furry. Or maybe I misunderstand, but it leans more towards bestiality to me. So are furries and other species considered the general understanding to encapsulate all of the dominions, or are we calling a spade a spade? Because a good number of them are just shape-shifting beasts like snakes, dragon, mermaids, mermans, because this BL, baby. Anything non-human that's a literal demonic entity, that's not furry to me. Okay? You see where this is going? If this is not your thing, and please believe me, I don't want to hear it's not your thing, just skip ahead, because it'll be the only one in this video. Kind of want to coast on these, since regular black flags be having y'all dox the authors. The characters. Mitsuru and Hachi are the main characters. I think that's a spoiler, but I kind of don't know, since I was confused until about the third reread. And I think I'm still not so sure. So I'm counting it as not my younger top, older bottom. I'm just going to say they're around the same age, because, baby, I really don't know. Mitsuru is a red flag. Let's make that clear early. But it's not his fault. I promise he can be fixed. But a toxic bottom does something for me, okay? He's a bitch, and that's the nicest way to put it. Hachi, on the other hand, is a sweet, doting, loving, caring, man's best friend type. Still can't fucking read. That never wavers in his dedication. The summary from the book. Mitsuru has a pheromone that causes male dogs to go in a rut, and Hachi is the young man who was raised by him. That'll make sense later. Mitsuru is the heir to a special dog training center, and suddenly a man with a muzzle on, Hachi, is brought to him. He looks completely human, but for some reason, he is trained as a military dog. Mitsuru has been attacked by dogs since he was a child because of his genetic makeup, but he easily forgives Hachi, who is obedient to his master as a dog, but is also a human. However, there is a reason why Hachi has been trained as a dog. See, and this is exactly why I need to go ahead and get serious in my language studies, because these translators are giving me aneurysms trying to make sense of the phrasing. Not to mention, I recently discovered my takes on English is biased. As a person that can currently only fluently speak English, I sometimes read slash watch stuff and be like, who taught you that? That's not it. Then on the other hand, it's like, how you saucier than me in my native language? You're using the words better than I could have imagined. Anyways, that's a sidebar. If it's not Juju Cat, who can we trust? Unsupplied. I mean, the summary pretty much tells you what happens. Like, it's so straightforward. But at the same time, there's actions slash reactions in response to the overall summary, which I really like because we get to peek at a psychological analysis that discusses trauma-based behaviors. There's hurt, no comfort. Then hurt and comfort. Like, I know those are tags, but the subject matter is done pretty nicely. Of course, there's smut. Be so for real. Would I be reading it if it wasn't? I'm just joking. Kind of. All these aren't created equally. The tags that they have: adult, smut, drama, BL, and romance, which you kind of gotta go by who's standard for that romance. You know, by mine. For the given circumstance, why not? But I also won't be recommending this as a romantic story to begin with. And those others aren't entirely inaccurate tags, but they definitely should have added psychological trauma, bestiality slash furry, having to take that, hurt, no comfort, hurt and a little comfort, trauma. Did I mention that? Because everybody in this whole got trauma, okay? The strengths, weaknesses. I'm actually going to combine these a bit because it's harder for me to separate here. This is a unique story, not concept. However, the intricate setup of why Mitsuru is such a toxic piece of work is arguably the driving force behind the narrative. So many, yet seemingly insignificant things to those around him literally give him no other option. He really didn't deserve the BS, but he does utilize the hurt no comfort so freaking well over Hachi. And Hachi, the loyalist baby, like, he's too sweet. He never, okay, maybe spoiler, never turns his back on Mitsuru. Granted, his own trauma weaves in the storyline like a gut punch that juxtaposes two of the characters from rocky beginnings, still rocky lives, and forces them to pretty much face themselves. It somewhat falls short on delivering with the aftermath once the two finally, they're actually never on the same page. Let's just be honest here. My opinion, conclusion, if it were longer, I truly feel like it wouldn't have been voted to no return hell with a 6.0 average. Granted, that's higher than when I first read it, since it was at a 5.4. There's some complex factors where circumstances force certain results, but it's consensual between the main characters, for clarification. Target audience / flag. Mitsuru is a reddish flag. In my opinion, he's just a baby and deserves an orange one. But if you drop it before that point, then yeah, he's red. However, Hachi is a green force. Baby is super submissive, the top, in case you need to be reminded. He also didn't deserve anything to happen to him. And I'm actually still confused on certain things that do involve him, but he's exactly what Mitsuru needs. And if you read it, I already know. Not condoning. Is it codependency? It's a little more toxic than that. Definitely not an IRL dynamic, but that wouldn't even be close to healthy. Number 2 on the list, Dungeons and BL, a manhwa by Chile, story and art. It's completed in such a fun time, about 10 chapters plus 4 side stories. The main characters are Joan Jinwoo and Yu Hae-sung. Don't start with me. Don't start with me. They're all on the main list that I finally got around to sorting out from history reads. But yes, older bottom, younger top. Juju is a black cat energy with loud mouth, and Hiiii is the puppy-like subordinate, but he does have a backbone. Okay, summary. That was actually too much to type. So the gist. When widespread distribution of the aphrodisiac-inducing cherry bombs begins to run rampant, captain of the Special Forces team, Jinwoo, is going to need to assemble a team to take down this fruity operation. With the help of his unpredictable subordinate, Hiiii and former lover Cha Sarah, the squad will have to undergo unthinkable trials to restore order to the wild world of dungeons. Okay, this is super cute, super funny trope, heavy play of scenarios, but it does it in a non-cheesy kind of way that's exciting and fun. Yes, it is the BL tropes, but they're finally crafted in such a way that you can't help but to laugh. You won't regret picking it up, even a little bit. Not even a little bit. The tags are adult, mature, smut, comedy, fantasy. Those are solid tags. No pop-up surprises. Strengths, weaknesses. This really isn't depth focused, so it wouldn't be fair to give it a strength/weakness rating. It's literally a silly fun time with great smut, pretty art, and a satisfactory ending. Opinion conclusion, if you want something short, to the point, with humor, and again, the smut, do eat, okay? That's why it's a great trope and completely consensual. Then this is probably up your alley. The target audience /flags, super green flags, both of them, plus it's a cute and quirky read. And the third one is Mastering Secretary by Ingzi, Story and Art. It's a short manhwa with 4 chapters that's complete. I think this one is one of the rating cards, and I can't remember off the top of my head, but I'm almost positive I have this under red, maybe orange examples, orange flag examples, and it's definitely that, because it kind of do give red, but we never really get to know more, although I secretly await the day I'll be surprised. Characters. Let's not. Yes, younger top, older bottom. Moving on. Han and okay, so I had to reread right quick, but baby don't got on it. Young master is the game. That little boy is sadistic for sure, but it's so short that we don't really get into what would make the epitome of showing us he's a red flag through and through. Secretary Han, well, he's the secretary. Summary from the site, Secretary Han has been working for the same family for years, so he watched the young master of the house grow up and has always doted on him. Hey, so I also didn't read the summary when I first started it, so I was unaware of how direct it was gonna be. But now, his beloved young master has taken a special interest in him. Unable to say no to his beautiful young master, they started steaming, and they do mean steaming, sexual relationship. However, Secretary Han is in for an unexpected surprise because his master is going to show him what it's really like to be under him. Plot. What plot? The summary is a literal translation. There is no play on words. Tags. Adult, mature, smut, age gap, drama. They got romance, but I don't know what kind of romance they talking about. Because ain't shit sweet, okay? That's for sure. They threw age gap in here, but I guess grooming isn't a tag. And while it wasn't Secretary Han's intentions, I'm not so that it's the job making Secretary Han go along with it. Humiliation, I'm throwing a little violence in there too, okay? Strength, weaknesses. let's not. Okay, because it really could have been a one shot. I'm glad it's not, and we definitely need more. Let's leave it there. Okay. Opinion/conclusion: Young Master, since he don't get a name, is in fact a sick ticket. One that I would have loved to explore more because that family business is definitely illicit in some way, and their backstory. I know it hits. I know it hits. So if anyone knows of any fan fiction to play out for this fantasy, please let me know immediately. See, Jahan on the other hand, now that's a grown man, okay? And he look grown. He look grown. There's another reason we need context because Han just take that shit. And while he's not repulsed, at least in a few chapters, something went down to make it this way. Kind of reminds me of A Tree Without Roots, although it's not finished. I'll never forgive myself for starting it incompleted, but that psychological angle, I know it's fire. Target audience /flag. That smut eats. Don't say I never gave you anything, because that Tiggy is so tangy, you'll run it back. But again, very much red flag. Orange, because we don't know. Alright, Fujoshi's and everybody else, that's all for today. Let me know what you're thinking and how we're feeling. Also, please, I'm so for real, okay? If you know of a fan fiction for mastering the secretary, don't leave me hanging, okay? Don't forget to like, comment, recommendations, subscribe if you want. I'm pretty easy to find since I'm using Nico Robin's alter ego as my tag name. Is that technically a spoiler anymore? Anyways, that's my girl for real. I ain't ever cried down for a fictional character like I did for her. And Nami has a super special place in my heart, okay? Bye! Until next time.